Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. As you all know at home, on our show we like to help inspire and motivate our viewers. And tonight we're going to hopefully do just that in the area of business, and more specifically women that are succeeding in their startup businesses. We have a packed show for you tonight, starting with award-winning business mentor Chelsey Baker and successful entrepreneurs Venturi and Arina Osiannaya, who'll all be sharing their secrets and roads to business success. Also, we have our resident business guru, Pfahl, who'll be giving us his expert advice on today's topic. And of course, as our focus on this show is to look after your mental health, I'll be giving you my own tips on how to mentally prepare to deal with any sort of challenge that comes your way, be it in business or in your personal life. But first, it's over to Excel with the news. Hello, Excel.
Hello, Chrissy.
And welcome back from your travel. She's been away for absolutely ages, everyone. A whole month.
It's nice
on a road trip.
It's nice to be missed. I thought I'd get away and just, do something adventurous.
So tell our viewers where you went.
Oh, stop it. I did a bit of a road trip across the states, and it was across about 20 states. But I didn't stop in all of them. I stopped in about 6 or so.
Now, you obviously don't own your own business.
But I make my own adventures, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
You wouldn't have time to do that.
I know. But it was fun. It was good fun. I actually done it on a smaller scale a few years ago, but this time was like the full whack, and I'm also thinking of upping the ante next time.
Well, it's good to have you back, Excel.
Well, thank you.
You've got some lovely news for us, haven't you?
I have. I think my tablet went on strike, so pardon the little thing in front of me. So I'll just make do with my little instruments today. I found a few interesting startup businesses owned by women, and it was quite interesting. I suppose when you don't really think about these things, I think it takes someone who's quite creative to think about something or need that needs to be met. And I think I saw a few interesting startups that I'll start off here with a lady called, a lady called Mathilde Collin set up something called Front, which lets you collaborate on email responses with your team without cluttering up your inbox with a confusing set of back and forth responses. So I don't know how this tends to work, but it says it lets you work under a group email address, and then it collaborates on composing emails. And some of these startups, is what I have to add, some of them have actually raised funds with by I suppose presenting their ideas to bigger companies, whereas some of them have just still worked from maybe their back room somewhere, and they're obviously making an impact. Another one I found was a woman who was tired of not finding clothes that fit right, a lady called Cynthia Shames. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It says, no matter what size you wear, if you're a woman, sometimes it's hard to find the right clothes that fit. And so Abby Posts is the name of this startup, and they solve the problem by letting users, it has a software, it's a software, and it lets users pick up styles and fabrics of clothing they want to wear, input their measurements, and build or find the clothes that fit just right.
That sounds quite complicated and expensive.
No, I think it's more like, it's a bit like how you kind of gather, I don't know, like a buffet or something. It's like, I want this material, I want it in that color, and I want it in this fabric.
It's a lovely idea.
Yeah, I think when I saw that, I thought it was quite cool. And it actually raised some money for funding last year, it says. And there's another business I found where it said, where is it? It teaches kids how to code. So the computer code, people sort of like think it's something really such a big deal and all of that. It says it's Hopscotch is the name of it, and it teaches kids how to code in a fun way and in a way that's not intimidating. It teaches them programming language. And I think it's interesting to note here, I mean, this is not a startup business, but I think Barclays do this as well, where they teach children how to learn computer coding, I suppose, to make it easier to, maybe not think, oh, how does that thing work? But you understand like the basics or the software behind a program. And I think that's why a lot of people are developing apps nowadays. So all these little apps we all download on our phones, it has to do with coding, it has to do with, all of that. So yeah, this is quite interesting that it teaches children.
That's my head in, sorry. I tried some of that, was it college? failed.
I have to say, I find it absolutely like, wow, you know, binary code and sets of numbers, and you see XYZ hashtag question mark, and you think you just come up with something fabulous. So I think to make it fun for kids is absolutely excellent. Yes, this woman, Rachel Berry, founded Motive, which is a job board connecting people who are underrepresented in technology, which is women and minorities in particular. And it values inclusion and diversity. So she allocates 10% of profits back into non-profits focused on diversity. She says, I grew up building and breaking things and strapping dolls to the back of remote control cars. So it's fair to say that diversity in general and technology in particular is something I've always been super passionate about. And so this was funded at the beginning of this year. It hasn't raised any funding as of yet, but I think she's still making ground. Something else I found, which is quite interesting, a lady by the name of Suzanne Noble came up with an app called Frugal, where it helps you create a list of, it creates a list of low-cost activities, so you can create, decide where you want to get to by way of, it tells you about directions to events that are free or low cost, and it also lets you buy tickets for the event. Although this is currently available in London, so I suppose, this is the beginning, it's a startup. It was founded in November 2012, and she's looking to expand to more cities once it gets funding, and they haven't actually had any fundraising as of yet.
That's great for students, isn't it? Not just those that are going through some difficulties.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found another startup, which is an e-commerce platform that has expecting parents and parents of newborn babies in mind. It's called WeSpring, and users can ask for advice, share stories, and compare products. And it has also raised about $700,000, and it was founded by a lady called Melissa Post and Alison and Jack Downey, which is pretty cool. Something else I discovered, we've all heard about Fortune 50, or Fortune 500, but now there is Fortuna 50, which celebrates top 50 women led businesses. And I have to say, it was quite interesting seeing that, because I thought, how interesting is that you're celebrating women as well? I'm not saying that it needs to be, they can't be included in the Fortune 500 list or whatever, but I think it's uniquely special. So when I saw Fortuna 50... You're just a bit
biased, aren't you?
Well, just slightly, slightly. So Fortuna 50 celebrates so women startups. So the first one is called JMR Solicitors. This is UK based. JMR Solicitors, which is a law firm based in Cheshire. Founding directors were Miriam Hazak and Jane Morris. They've grown 551% since they started. Something else interesting here is Zoom Nurseries, which is number 4 on the list. It's a nursery that's located in Blackheath, and the founders also have several nurseries located in southeast London. And the founding directors are Sophie Hubble and Bella Landon, and they've grown 363%, which is quite cool. A paint and decoration company called Wonderwall also has grown 181%, which is number 6 on the list, and is founded by a woman called Adina Bodana. I hope I've saying all these names right. And
you can't be worse than me with names.
Well, yeah. And actually, I saw something else again called The Main Ingredient, which is an event catering company based in Hertfordshire, founded by a lady called Julie Anderson. Yeah, The Main Ingredient. That was very nice. So I think when it comes to, I suppose, setups as well, I have to mention that I do know somebody who has set up quite a successful business. Her name is Melissa Doucet, and she has a Bejeweled Academy, it's called, and it reaches out to schools where providing after-school clubs. And I think it started off in the lowly beginnings in North London, and now I know she's, I don't know if she's declared her first million yet. I'm sure she's close. She works very hard, I have to say. And she does after school clubs.
Did she ask you to speak about it?
No, she didn't actually. No, she probably slapped me for doing this, but that's what friends are for. We embarrass each other every now and again. But she does after school clubs. She does for example, in terms of cooking or baking clubs, language clubs as well, and
I think it's lovely when a business helps the community as well.
Absolutely, because you're getting everybody involved, and I think that's the important thing about it. When I think what I found the central theme about all of these businesses is that you're meeting a need. You're meeting, sort of, you've thought, this is something, a lot of inventions. Like people, like when we look at programs like, Dragon's Den and all of that, people have thought about it and think there's a need here that needs to be met, and so they go and they fulfill it. So I think that's what makes it quite interesting and quite admirable.
Excel, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You've covered quite well, haven't you, after your jet lag and everything?
I know, it was serious. It took me a whole week to recover.
And we'll see you again next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, guys, after the break, we'll speak to business mentors Chelsey Baker and Jonathan Pfahl, and one of our successful women entrepreneurs, only here on the Chrissy B Show. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, and we're here at the Chrissy B Show. We're covering the topic of successful women in business. And without further ado, please welcome our special guests, business mentors Chelsey Baker and Jonathan Pfahl, and successful entrepreneur Arina Osiannaya. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So good to have you all on. Obviously, our viewers know Jonathan here, who's our resident business expert.
Yes, indeed.
How
good
are
to be
you?
back. I'm very well. Always a pleasure to be here.
Brilliant. So you're also going to be giving us your input today on these lovely ladies that we have on the programme today.
Indeed. When the show asked me if I knew any successful women in business, I'm so glad they did, because we know many, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome not just one but three of them tonight. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let's start with Chelsey first of all. Can you tell us about your background and what you do exactly? And
wow, where do I start? Okay,
I know it's quite a long list, isn't it?
Background is primarily 20 years in media, marketing and communications, PR, and more recently I've won quite a few awards for my work as a award-winning business mentor. Worked for the Rockstar Group for I think it's about 4 or 5 years now.
It has been.
Mentored hundreds of companies, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And we've seen such a huge rise in the whole entrepreneurial, kind of spirit, and everybody thinks that they can set up their own business, and that's where, Rockstar and the hub and everything comes into it, because, it's very scary setting up your own business and going for it, and it can be actually quite lonely at times. So we've had the pleasure of welcoming in Arina and the other guest Luna to the hub, and it's absolutely exciting, and it's just a very fast-paced society at the moment with certainly with the business startup.
How do you feel when you see people sort of coming in and getting that help, and then seeing them become successful? It must be great for you as well.
It's the ultimate reward. I absolutely love it. I mean, that's what drives me, that's what gets me out of bed every day. I love mentoring, I love working with companies, especially the startups. I think really it's just so critical that they get the right advice early on, so that we're here to steer them down the right path and make sure that they don't make these critical mistakes, and that they can actually overcome challenges and things, because some businesses, if they don't get the right advice early on, they perhaps never recover. So it's quite important to be guided by somebody, not just your parents or your auntie or your friend. It's important to seek the right advice.
Okay, so we've got the lovely Arina here. How are you, my love?
Thank you.
So you are a successful entrepreneur. So can you tell us how it all started for you, where you got your idea from, and tell the viewers what it is?
Oh, well, I'm running the Business Funding Show, the first ever UK exhibition on funding for small and medium businesses.
Okay.
And what we aim to do to close the funding gap between finance providers and SMEs. And what we've seen that there was actually so many providers on one hand, so many businesses who are looking for funding, but apparently they still cannot meet we've been looking what's going on and found that only 15% of the businesses actually have sufficient knowledge and understanding of what it takes to get funding, who they need to approach, what they need to do for this. And that's how idea came to us, so that we cannot afford to ignore 85% of remaining businesses if we really want to build strong economy and if we really want to bring some impact and to close this gap.
Yeah. So you went for it. You really went for it, didn't you? Because so you saw this gap, and you because I think a lot of people see gaps in the market and they see needs for things, but they don't kind of do anything about it. What made you really jump in and say, I'm going to do something about this, I'm going to make it work?
Wow. What I think, you know, from my childhood, I've been dreaming about becoming a politician.
Oh, okay.
I spent something, I don't know, maybe 10 years before I entered like the most prestigious academy to do my master's. Then I spent some time working for public organizations, and I found that it's quite slow environment. If you really want to bring notable impact to society, you need to go into business world. And then you're looking for opportunities, you're looking for demands and how to help, what you can do for society. So it's actually all my passion came with previous experience, knowledge, with all these connections. So everything came logically to that end.
So do you wake up every morning looking forward to going to work? Or is it kind of tough sometimes?
I think there is no choice about, you don't have time to think, because for me, the first rule of the business, if you want to achieve something, if you want to establish yourself in the business world, you need to commit to what you promise. You need to deliver on your promises, no matter what's happening. You have bad mood, you have some problems, whatever going on. You need to forget if you're really going somewhere. If you want to achieve success, you just focus on results, no matter what limitations are.
So Chelsey and Jonathan, what do you think about this remarkable young lady doing this?
I think she's brave. I mean, you know, you don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to set up my own business funding show. I just think, you know, well done to you, Arina. It's very brave of what you've done, and obviously, a fantastic idea.
What are your future plans, Arina? Dare I ask? Because I've got a feeling you're going places.
Well, my first future plan obviously to bring at least 120 of finance providers to our show and minimum of 5,000 businesses. But with this, I'm quite relaxed because we already have got over 4,000 businesses signed to the show.
Wow.
Despite the show is happening in February, which is great, and it shows strong demands and needs. And then we're going to expand and make the show bigger, and hopefully we're going to help to finally narrow this gap, help the businesses understand what they need, what it takes, and to establish better this dialogue and break these barriers between finance providers and businesses.
Brilliant, that's
and
excellent.
just to add to that as well, when Arina first presented the opportunity to us, who is a mentoring and investment company, no one has done it before. This is a time now when there are so many businesses in London who are growing and looking for investment. It was such a simple idea, but no one had done it before. And that's what's great about the business. Everyone who looks for investment, come along. Everyone who provides investment, pay to be there, because we will guarantee you thousands of businesses and thousands of clients. And with that niche, that's why we jumped on board and we've become one of the key sponsors of it. And where Arina's now in the hub, and we're helping make this a success because it should be. It's an absolute game changer, and she's a pleasure, absolutely pleasure to work with, and I'm sure it'll be a fantastic show.
Definitely.
We're quite lucky getting them on site.
They're both great, right? Now tell us, what advice would you give to maybe our viewers at home that are thinking of going for maybe, they've got a business idea, but they're a bit scared maybe to take that step to leave a job or to start something new? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I would say there is never a good time. If you want to do something, go and do it. But obviously, you cannot just start from scratch, like Chelsey said. Oh, one morning she woke up and decided to do the business funding show. Yeah, maybe one morning I decided to do it, but how long time before it took the preparation to know the industry, to meet people from the industry, to speak to competitors, to providers, to bring all the expertise together and to understand the market and how to make it. Obviously, you need to do thorough research. You need to understand where you're going. If you lack some of the knowledge, go and find where they are. And then just go and do it. Because after, when you have already all the background, and if you procrastinate and hesitate taking actions, it's never going to happen. Then you can just feel safe, stay at your job, and maybe business isn't for you if you don't take actions. Business is about actions and hard work, and focus on results. Go there and you will achieve success.
I see the passion in her eyes when she's talking.
Absolutely.
I feel like I should go and do something like that.
Very well. It's very.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Chelsey, tell us a bit more about you as well, because you're both going to be staying on for the next part of the show, because you have another successful entrepreneur coming on. Tell us a bit more about yourself and the success that you've achieved.
Wow, my company's Broadcasting Your Business. Like I said, I'm one of the leading mentors for the Rockstar Group, author of The Pocket Mentor, and I've mentored over quite a few hundred businesses now. Wow. So I specialise primarily in pitch, press and publicity. So we talked about Arina and the Business Funding Show, and people these days, they have to get their sales pitch across right. So I'm all about communication. You have to pitch to retailers, you have to pitch to your clients, you have to pitch to customers, you have to pitch to staff. So Broadcasting Your Business, I set that up to primarily create and help entrepreneurs to raise their profile and work with them on their pitching and their press and their publicity. So my background that's led me to where I am today has been very varied. I launched my own TV channel. I traded the stock market for many years. Last month, or this week rather, I've launched my own national day. So my National Mentoring Day. So, there's no limits to perhaps what I've done or where I'm going. I'm very entrepreneurial, always coming up with different ideas. At the end of the day, I do stuff for me, and I think that's very, very important, that I do what I enjoy. So I've worked, like I said, in very, very different, diverse sectors. And, I spent 2-3 years as a writer. I wrote for top business magazines, had hundreds of business articles published. And all this helps me to mentor other companies.
And this is what I'm saying, because there's such a wealth of knowledge between the two of you as well. So
I mean, that's what mentoring
it's brilliant.
is.
Yeah, it's brilliant that businesses can get that advice and get that guidance.
It's all about passing on our experience and passing on our knowledge.
All right. So do stay with us, because after the break, thank you so much for sharing your story. You did great. Brilliant.
You,
and all the best for February. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. And after the break, we're going to have another entrepreneur joining us to tell us about her venture and how she's doing with it. And we're also going to be getting some more advice by our experts here. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, and if you've just joined us, today's show is all about successful women in business. And now we're also joined by Luna Venturi Wellington. Hello, Luna.
Hello, Chris.
So good to have you here.
Thank
so
you.
You're going to be telling us about
show.
You're going to be telling us about your business and how it all started. So tell us a little bit about your background. What did you want to do when you were small? I like to ask people that because people normally have ambitions when they're quite young.
Yes, I first started dreaming of having my own translation career when I was a little girl. So when I was 12, I think that's what I kept saying to everyone, that I wanted to be a translator and an interpreter. Wow. I had an early calling, if you like.
Yeah.
But
why that in particular? Why not? Because my usual one was, I wanted to work in London Zoo and be an air hostess.
At the same time?
Kind of, yeah. I like both appeal to me. I like travel and I liked animals.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, if you were also a BA stewardess, I'd feel sorry for the poor monkeys and elephants if you were trying. If you were in Barbados whilst they were waiting for their zookeeper.
It's true.
I digress.
Sorry, back to you.
It's all right. Yes, it's quite strange, I guess, to know so early on what you want to do for a living. But I have an auntie which speaks several languages, and I remember watching her speaking on the phone in French 1 second and then picking up the phone again and speaking English. And I was in awe of her, so I thought, that's it, I want to get into languages, and that's what I'm going to do.
All right, so then when did the business idea come from?
The business idea came from the desire to really join my passion for languages with my love for museums and art, and combining the two together and working in a field that I was passionate about. So I did some market research to check whether it would be a good niche to offer my services, and I had a very positive response, and museums and art professionals told me, yes, actually we find it really hard to find translators which have a specific art terminology and cultural sensitivity. So I saw a gap in the market, if you like.
Wow. And then how was it setting your business up?
It was quite challenging, but I got the right help here with my fabulous mentors, and the input they're giving me, the advice they're giving me, has been really crucial, I would say, in putting me in the right direction and making my business grow, and translating, if you like, my dream into reality, and having a sort of concrete business plan and a strategy to move forward. It's been super useful.
And how's it been going? How's the business been developing?
It's going really well. I set it up
recently,
but we already had a positive response from clients, and we're working with some prestigious museums already, and some smaller local museums. So it's very exciting.
Now tell us, let's talk a little bit about obviously the stress of having a business, because there are a lot of people, they do go through a lot, and it is, like you said, it's a very challenging thing to do and a brave thing to do, because most people kind of think about it and then it's just an idea and then it just goes, they don't pursue it. How do you keep yourself, I would say, mentally healthy and you know, good inside, even though there's, you know, things may be going wrong or it's very stressful? How do you kind of keep yourself grounded?
I think that over the years I developed a few techniques to cope with stress. Having worked as a conference interpreter, doing translations simultaneously in real time, I came up with some techniques to keep stress under control, and it's a mixture of breathing techniques and just staying focused on what you're doing, why you're doing it, and that really helps me to not lose my focus, if you like. And I also have a little girl, and I find that it's great, you know, just painting with her, or it really helps me to switch off and take my mind off everything and keep things in perspective as well.
All right, so let's speak to our mentors now. So obviously we've got two great stories here of people that really went for their dream and they're doing really well. Do you think it takes a certain type of person to be able to do something like this, or do you think anyone can, with the right guidance and with the right help, they can develop a business? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that everyone has an equal opportunity and a chance to be a successful entrepreneur. And I think there's things that you can do at the start, like having that strong mindset in the beginning and believing in yourself. There's many different things that you can do. You know, in terms of setting up a business, you've got to research first, but use it and enjoy the experience of learning and thinking about setting up a business. So, you know, for those of women out there who are thinking, I'm going to, you know, what business shall I do? You've got to think of something that's perhaps going to be here in 5-10 years time, you know, not just a passing fad or a trend. You actually got to research that there's a market for this product or service that you're thinking of creating. And I just think it's a wonderful experience to go and do something on your own. I think it's, you know, it's so rewarding, isn't it? Really, really rewarding,
It's the most rewarding thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously,
I was just going to say, what I really hope that the viewers got from both Arina and Luna is they, first and foremost, they love what they do. The background of Luna, if we focus on Luna, is her background was, of course, it was the love of translation. How many languages can you speak now?
I speak 4.
4 and growing. From the passion of her grandmother to her love of museums and art, she put a business together around what she was good at and what her love and passion was. When you're in business, can anyone do it? The answer is yes. But the pattern that you're hearing tonight from Luna and Arina is, number one, you have to love what you do. You have to have a passion for it, because it is tough and you have to work your backside off to make it work. And the only way that you can have that desire to keep working through those difficult times is if you have that passion, that love, that belief that it's going to be something that's not a fad, that is something that's going to last 5-10 years.
Definitely.
And that would be my answer to that as well.
Yeah, okay. Now let's talk also, especially with the females now.
I'm done now.
You can input because you have kids anyway, John.
Yes.
But getting that kind of balance right, because, you know, especially if you have a family and you have children and stuff, that's quite difficult, I can imagine, because you do have to work really hard, you do have to put the hours in and stuff. How do you get that balance without, because obviously if you're working too much, you start to feel guilty because you're neglecting other people and your relationships and stuff. But then if you don't put enough work in, it's not going to take off. What do you think?
The problem that entrepreneurs face and business owners face is that, you know, I have so many people come to me, they're so stressed, you know, their time management skills, they don't have any, you know, when they start up. So it's very, very difficult to balance, especially when you start up a business. You're doing everything from the invoicing to the accounts to answering the phone to doing the social media strategies, the marketing, the sales. Where's the balance when you first set up a business? It's very difficult. But it's all about prioritizing, and we talk about mental health. It's managing the mind, most importantly, managing the situation. You have to learn to prioritize, and you have to learn to prioritize with everything in life. You know, not everything can be a number one priority. So there's things that you can do to learn, you know, to incorporate time management into your day and have a proper structure. I've witnessed so many business owners coming to me and they are just exhausted. They're up till, you know, 2-3 o'clock in the morning every night trying to do everything. And of course it's that balance that's needed. They feel they have to stay up all night to get the sales in, to bring the money in. Whereas if they actually refreshed themselves, rejuvenated, had that power nap, maybe did a bit of meditation, went out for a quick run, you know, their mind would be so much more alert. So it is critical to have that mental break, you know, before you keep going on to the next task. But otherwise you're working yourself into the ground. So unfortunately, we all have to learn the hard way how to structure our day and how to have balance.
And if I can add to that, I think that it's also important to understand that you do not have to do everything yourself. As a small business, you do have that tendency to, you know, work around the clock and cover
everything. It's your baby,
everything.
isn't it? You want to do everything yourself.
But you need to learn how to hand over certain parts of your business to other specialists. So that's when the mentoring comes in, and you might decide to outsource some parts of your business and get someone to sort of help you with the load.
And sometimes just one piece of advice could save you so much time. Like, so, you know, you're sort of spending so much, wasting time doing something that you could be doing in a much better way when you've got that support there and those ideas coming from someone.
I say learn what your strengths and your skills are, and learn what you don't actually like doing, and then outsource it, because there's nothing worse than doing things that you don't like. I used to spend hours keying in receipts and things, outsourced to an accountant. Just learning what you actually enjoy and what you don't is key, because like you say, you can get somebody in to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your story as well, and all the best for the future. I'm sure it's going to be doing better and better. And thank you so much for your advice. Brilliant. And we'll see you again soon, Jonathan, as well. All right, guys, so after this quick break, I'll be giving you my personal advice on how to deal with challenging situations. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Hello everyone, and tonight has been filled with successful women in business to talk about what it takes to make it. But of course, business ventures aren't easy and in fact come with overwhelming challenges. So you really have to prepare yourself for these kind of trials, or it could affect your mental and physical health. So my tips today will focus on dealing with challenging situations, not only in business, but also in your personal life. So here are my tips. The first point is, don't live in denial. Now, no one likes to admit that there's a problem, and sometimes it could be a little bit hint of pride there, but often it's fear. So often in business, for example, time is of the essence. So it really needs to, whatever the issue is, it needs to get sorted out really fast. It's no point in kind of dragging it and delaying it. And I know it's hard. It's, you know, it's your business, it's your baby, and you've put so much time and effort into it. But if you're aware of an issue, if you're aware of a problem, the longer you leave it, the more likely that you're going to reach a point where you can't do anything about it anymore, and that can cause big losses. So, I think we all face this kind of situation sometimes when it's kind of a difficult thing to face. So, for example, I remember once regarding some work that I was doing, I'd spent so much time and effort putting everything that I had into this particular project, only to find out that I was going in the completely wrong direction, and I really thought everything was okay. And it's like, it was kind of difficult and scary to have the thought of having to start again. And I thought, oh my God, I've just wasted so much time. But in the actual fact, it wasn't a waste of time, because I was gaining experience in different things with the way I was going. But I had to reach a point where I said, okay, I really do need to just scrap everything and start again. And once I did, everything started to go well after that. So you can also relate this to your personal life. So maybe you've seen a bit of an issue in your relationship, for example, and you think it's not that big a deal, but you know that there's something wrong. You know that there's something maybe between you and your partner. And sometimes it's like you think, well, if I say something, if I bring it up, maybe it's just going to kind of blow out of proportion and it's going to make things worse. So you leave it there. You leave it simmering. You leave it knowing, maybe both of you know there's something wrong, both of you know there's something not quite the same between you, but you just leave it, you don't deal with it. But one day it's going to explode. One day it's going to get out of hand, and maybe it will be too late. So it's best to, with any kind of situation, to deal with it as soon as you see a problem. And to give you an example, I knew someone where there were problems, but this couple didn't speak about it. They didn't speak about the problems they were going through. And eventually, the wife actually just wanted to leave her husband, just like that, without even talking. And he didn't even have a clue that she was even considering something like that. But they both knew there was an issue, but they just didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to kind of bring it out into the open until it was too late. So it seems like it's a good idea just to ignore some things, but often it just makes things a lot worse. So apply that to your business and personal life as well. So the second point is, don't play the blame game. So in business, especially when something has gone wrong and things aren't going as they should, avoid looking for someone to pin all the blame on, even though it's very tempting to do so. There's no time for that. So put all your energy into putting your heads together and finding a solution to make things work. And once you've done that, you can always go back and find the root to what caused the issues and address it. But again, it's not to kind of just, I would say, make that person feel really bad or try to kind of discipline them. Okay, you may have to have some course of discipline depending on what the situation is, but your focus should be on getting over that situation, bringing the business back in line where it's supposed to be, and then you can deal with any issues afterwards, but in a way, not in a negative way, but in a way to move things forward rather than just trying to pin the blame on someone. So this can also be translated into your personal life again. If there are issues, if there are things going on, maybe with family members or anything like that, try, instead of blaming each other and pointing the fingers at one another, try to reach a common ground where you can move forward. And this is something that I've also had personal experience in, because I had loads of problems with my boyfriend, who's now my husband, loads of problems. And the reason for that is because we kept blaming one another for our issues. We never actually just sat down and talked and tried to work things out. I was busy saying, well, it's your fault. If you hadn't done this, then he was doing the same thing, and it just went on forever like that until we got help for our relationship. So it never helps to play the blame game in any situation. Let's see the next point now. Mistakes happen. So in business, you really have to take risks, and when you take risks, mistakes are inevitable sometimes, but it all counts as experience. So don't expect that everything that you do or everything that you go for, is going to work, everything's going to be perfect, because it probably won't be. But you shouldn't let those mistakes kind of discourage you and make you feel like, oh, this isn't for me, maybe I'm not meant for this. As you heard from our mentors earlier, that's what they're there for, because a lot of people try maybe to do things on their own and they make mistakes, and it kind of really puts them down, and they sometimes they can't even recover from them. So just bear in mind that mistakes do happen in business and in life, but wherever you can get the right advice, be it in business with mentoring or speaking to someone that has experience, or in your personal life, making sure that you do talk to people to avoid problems, to get advice from people, then definitely do so. But don't, just because you make a mistake in something, don't let that kind of make you feel like not going on anymore and not bothering to try anymore. Okay, but to give you now a little more inspiration and motivation, here's another successful business story for you to see. Let's take a look. So today I'm here with Ian and Vitalina, who are the brains behind this fabulous concept of Come Dine With You. So I've just sampled the food. The food's absolutely amazing, by the way. But can you first of all tell us, Ian, how come you came up with the idea in the first place to do something like this?
Well, it's hard to explain because quite a lot of things put into one. I've been a chef for quite a long time, and we wanted to do our own venture. So me and Vit were sitting down one time, I think was it 4 or 5 years ago we thought about this. Yeah. I was watching Come Dine With You.
Which I love that programme.
Yeah.
Come Down With Me.
Come Down With Me, sorry.
We'll get there.
So it just clicked, didn't it? Come Down With You, Come Down With Me. It made sense, going to people's homes, doing different kind of food from.
So you actually go to the person's house?
Yeah.
You cook, what do they choose from a menu?
Whatever they want. Whatever you say, if you think, okay, I've tried this particular dish in a restaurant and I want to eat it at home, then whatever you choose, we'll get either Ian himself will do, or another chef will come to your home and do it. What keeps you going? Because I'm sure with any business venture, things do get tough, especially in the current climate. What actually keeps you going through those struggles and keep fighting to make everything successful? Our kids. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, with the good thing about this company is there's no loss. I mean, that's another thing, because to own a restaurant, we thought that's what his thing was, gastropub restaurant, something. Then you think the money, can't afford that. Then you think a restaurant, you need the gas, the electric, the staff. Whereas this, everyone works independently, and it's more family business run. We try to help out my sister. I have my sister in, or
that's nice.
People more. You see younger people that need some work. He gets a lot of apprentices in through colleges as well.
I get students to come and help as well. So in a way, it's like inspiring them to get into the kitchen, see different things as well. You don't have to be in a restaurant to do good food. That's another key point why we keep going, because people will be surprised at what we can do in the home.
Who's been your inspiration?
Where do I start? Marco Peel White. He's the reason why I became a chef actually. When I was 15, 16, I was watching TV and White Heat. When I seen him on TV, I fell in love with his food, sorry, not him. But yeah, then from then I said I'm going to move to London, come from Lancashire. That's how I started. This is a while back. So yeah, him, what else was I going to say? Marco, Gary Rhodes as well, what he's done for British food. Richard Neat as well is another famous chef, did a bit of time for him. Fantastic chef, way before his time. Who else? Did work for Anthony Rob Thompson as well, he's another good chef for British food. Who else have we got? There's loads of them, to be honest. It's hard to put in one pot, but those are the reasons why I became a chef.
You're working together as a couple. What is that like? Is that hard? Do you sort of get fed up with each other, or do you enjoy it?
Well, I'll speak first.
Sometimes we have some really good times, don't we? It's not that bad. It's I'm used to, I've seen him work with other people, whereas he gets frustrated. Whereas me, I know exactly what he just gives me a look, but then he knows.
Oh, that's the nice thing when you're with someone, isn't it? You just know from the looks what to say.
He knows, but then sometimes he knows when he's like, get this, get that, and then I just say yes, and so he knows he's stepping out of line and getting a bit rude.
But to be honest, it works well because of understanding. With anybody else, I don't know if I can get away with it as such, but we've got a good understanding. And when it comes to not just making the food, serving the food, Vic's the best person for me. I can have nobody else. And it works hand in hand.
So Ian, you do quite a bit of charity work as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do a bit of volunteering for a place called the Welcome Project, which is like for people who've had drink or drinking problems or drugs, and trying to get them back into the system of work. And I find that, to me, very inspiring, because you're meeting people from different lifestyles who struggled and all of a sudden trying to get back into the industry or back into the world of working again. What I do a cookery class just to base around cookery, which is like skills for life, so it'll be basic cookery, so they're not making soups, meals on a budget, healthy cooking, just things like that. Just trying to get them back into the system and get confidence again in work.
Well, thanks so much. I've really had a lovely morning here. The food's been fantastic, and I think you're a great couple, and all the best for the future. Thank you. So a great couple with a great business there. So hopefully tonight we've inspired you, motivated you, and learned also a little bit more about what it takes to be a successful business entrepreneur. And if you have an idea for a topic for this show, or you have a story to tell us, then please do contact us by tweeting us at Chrissy B Show or commenting on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show, or visit our website, chrissybshow.tv. Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today. But if you'd like to speak to me personally about anything, you can also visit my personal website, mylifeafterdepression.com, and you can read more about my story there and how I beat depression and panic attacks and many other things. Right, guys, so we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now. Wrong. I didn't. Osiannaya. It's Osiya. Can you change it? O-S, just change it to O-S-I-Y. Right, we all look all right, yeah?
It's about content, not content.
Yeah,